Oh man, good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Oh, hasn't even been that long. I think what last stream was Friday. Yeah, last stream was Friday. So it's like, what are we doing? You know, or not? What are we doing? But like, what am I saying? Like, I feel I'm acting like it's been so long we've uh since we've streamed or whatever, but it hasn't actually been that long. So I think I'm just excited to get back into it. Like, yeah, I know it hasn't been long, but like it's definitely been a it's definitely been a long time for me because like I just wanted to get back to this, man. Like I want to play games. I want to be streaming. Ah, all right. We're playing Trek to Yomi today. I'm gonna keep that going because I had a lot of fun playing that. Uh, was that was that Thursday? Yeah, yeah. Had a lot of fun playing that Thursday. We're just gonna keep it going. I think we'll get as far as we can for a bit or until I get annoyed or something stupid. Um, but yeah, man. Yomi. I like the idea of being a samurai. Fun fact: Samurai Jack is only like I don't know the greatest anime ever made. I guess it's not an anime per se, but if people want to get how people get they get all persnickety when you say shows or when you call shows that aren't technically anime. But I say screw 'em. There's no need. It is what it is. It's an animation television show that was created um for people to watch. So I'm calling it an anime. Any hoozles. Um yeah, Samurai Jack was dope. I still haven't seen uh the following season, like the when they came back, when Gende came back to it. I haven't seen that yet. Um but yeah, anyways, let's get into it, baby. We are. See if I can remember how to play. Been a second. Been almost a week. Whoa. All right. Journal updated. Let's see if I can remember what's going on. Our neighbors in. Oh, I remember. I can't read that. Kami. Kami Kawamura. Kawi Kawamura are besieged. Aiko is certain that we will be next, and so I, Morimitsu, and five fellow samurai move to aid any survivors and cut down the warlord responsible before he can strike against us. Yet we were ambushed, my men were taken, and I fight alone. No matter, I will find them and I will free them. No trace of Morimitsu and the others. No doubt the dogs who ambushed us dragged them to nearby Kamiko Wamura. Oh, I could say Kamiko Wamura instead of trying to break it down into smaller segments. Just break it down into two. But they were destroyed, but they have destroyed the bridge behind them. I will cut through the mountain caves instead, much slower and surely dangerous, but no other path remains. Morimitsu and my men are indeed in Morimitsu and my men are indeed in Kamikaruura, Wamura. But so ruthless are the vermin who took them, and I cannot waste even a moment if I hope to find them alive. Many bandits have met my blade already, but I will dispatch as many others as I must to Yomi. Then I will end the threat of the man who leads them, whoever. So last, and we just came out of a cave. So hopefully I can remember how to play. Okay, wait. Nope. Remember. LB is pairing. You alright, lady? Is there more, or? Okay, I guess I just leave her crying. I gotta be more careful. Forgot how like difficult this game gets. Let's just feel like I'm a little. I think it's because I gotta turn the studio mode on. Oh, it saves heal you too? Just gave him my back. I tried to back up. Just B. Isn't there combos now? Oh no. I got wrecked. He killed me. Alright. We're gonna get him. We'll get him this time. Oops. Oops. Alright. Hold on. Let's see. Let me. What do I? No. Okay, here we go. Skills. Let me relearn my skills. Okay, get that. Light, quick, XX, up X, X, down XX, Y, XXX. Okay. That's skills. Yeah, we know. Hold to block, tap to parry. Yeah, I remember it. Okay. Get tired. Finishers when there's what you call them. Okay. Did I? Oh no, he got me. Forgot the armor guys are super tough. Come on. Oh. Oh. All right. This is a great start. Oops. Oh my gosh. This dude is tough. Oh, okay. Finally. Oh my goodness. Classic Kurosawa bridge moment, man. That looked absolutely hideous because I'm so bad. I thought I turned the camera. Some extra stamina. Some shuriken. Yeah, I remember. I thought I had shuriken in the game was gone, but I didn't.
よくも兄貴をやりやがったなクソ野郎
Ooh, sprint attack. I haven't seen that. Oh, come on. I literally glanced down to make sure my health was okay, and he killed me. Alright, so that's progress. What's this one? Nothing. Okay, never mind. See a shiny. An Ama. Long ago, we gave horses to the kami shrines, believing the beasts would dutifully carry our requests for aid to the spirits. Dutifully carry our requests for aid to the spirits. Our horses are, of course, too precious now, and so simple wooden tokens instead bear prayers for bountiful harvests and long lives. Perhaps a real steed would have bought Kamiko Wamura its safety. This guy was an idiot. Woo, got him. I gotta stop taking too much damage, man. Man, get out of the house. It's on fire. Get out of the house. Man.
お助けを。うちの中に奴がおるんじゃ。
2も3こっちだ。
すでに切った。他の奴らが来る前に
Yeah, dude.
ここか
Get
ら
out
去
of
る
here.
のじゃ。かたじけねえ。かたじけねえ。
Okay, so I went that way. What's this way? That's more bad guys. Alright, let's go this way. Okay, now this is a dead end. Just like some weapons. Maximum ammunition. Needed more health for sure. I'm out here getting my stuff pushed in. Can't have that. Let's kill these guys. Let's go.
諦めね
I keep trying to like rush down these guys. This way it seems like it's not. But maybe it is. Okay. I think that might be the person. Let's go this way.
気も良くてない。気も良くてない。
Oh, that's rude. That is so rude. Oh, man.
すでに切った。他の奴らが来る前にここから去るのじゃ。かたじけねえ。かたじけねえ。
Shit. Get out of here. Let's see.
役立たずクズ野郎が
Alright. I'm learning the combinations. Alright, so maybe that is progress and this isn't progress. This is actually not progress. All I had to do is just step forward just a little bit. And I would have realized.
止めようとしたんじゃ。されど。
Yeah, you're just a villager,
措
man.
置はなせることを全て果たしたのだ。他に拙者のようなものを見ておらぬか。集い場でどうぞお気をつけて。
Boys are in
かたじけない。
Thanks, bud. Look, lost love letter. A love-struck missive from a tannery worker courting a farmer's daughter. An impure Murakumin, tainted by association with death. Wooing a girl born of land-owning Haman? Okay. Such sad folly. Perhaps it is best they are in Yomi now, for doubtless the girl would instead have been forced to marry a man of greater status. So It's another guy.
貫く真の像がもう一つあったか。
Right? Rotation attack. Ooh. I like getting combos. Wait, where'd he go? He just disappeared. His body disappeared.
気を抜くでない。気を抜くでない。
お前はここでクズだ。
Caught him with the tail end, baby. That was a fast one. Man, get out of here. Uh-oh. Is that? Oh, I think that fool with the kunai, baby. Shuriken. Oh, yes. I'm just starting to get a little hairy. Whoa. That's it. I hate accidentally making progress. Okay, this one. Okay, well, never mind. No.
そこまでだクズ野郎が
He's like fainting. Oh no.
諦めない。
Oops. Alright, alright. The timing's a little off.
お前はここでしまいじゃ。今だ。
Alright. It wouldn't let me turn on.
頭をかち割ってやる。
Thought I blocked it.
切り刻んでやる。切り刻んでやる。
Cat. Yo, that overhead that he does is so fast.
腰をへし折ってやれ。もう逃げられず。諦めな。ここまでだ。
Man, he's doing the moonwalk. Yuri Collectibles. Oh, neat. Nice. Oh, it's because it's... Mori Shio. Salt wards against bad luck, it is said. Salt brings purification, it is said. Salt pacifies the earth kami, it is said. Perhaps indeed this Mori Shio ensured a rich harvest or the safe birth of a child. But no matter how prettily piled the salt, no matter how delicate the dish, it cannot stay a killer's plate. Took some rooftops. Rooftop battles. Yep, it's rooftop battles.
その目をかいたりすぎじゃ。逃げるがいい。よな。お前はここでしまいじゃ。
Got him. Got him again. Combo, yeah, straight up the combo. You just counter XXY or XYY. Oh shit! Stupid. That's the combo. XYY, baby. Fell off the bridge.
ただため様は
I love the way
ま
the
ずも
camera
てあそぶ
moves. And it's-
やったぞこの
It's a new one. The way they ragged all off the bridge, oh my goodness. It's so funny to me. Keep going.
集い場じゃ
The main square.
森光殿や他の者が生きておるならあそこにおるはずじゃ
I love this game. This game is awesome. Boss
や
battle.
っと現れおったが皆待っておったぞ
Boss battle. Boss battle. Boss battle. My boys. Oh, well.
己が大将かもしくはただの手下に過ぎぬか
我が君の名のもとに命を殺めることは誉れ高きこと。お前の次は一家親しき者ども皆殺しだ。
Oh, imagine.
なぜあがくお前はもう何人も救うことはできぬ。
己をここで討ち取れば案ずることはない
逃げられんぞ。負け犬が
Oops. All right. Well,
やれ
I was.
止めろ。
Better run.
こっちだこ大出しのゴキかぶれ。
Try to get finishers. Ooh, I caught it before he hit me.
読みで皆と会うのだな。
Got him. Wussy. Second attempt, baby. Let's go.
己のような輩には情け無用
わしにとどめを刺すことよりも案ずべき大事があろ
何が言いたいのじゃ
う。お前がこうしておるうちに我が君はすでにお前の村に入っておる。お前が慕う者ども今や守ることもできわい。
Uh-oh. That ain't good. Loaded.
父上は黄泉への戸に疲れました。村は導くものを求めています。
愛子殿がなるべきです。愛子殿は強く村人も敬っております。
天涯孤独となってしまいましたが、皆のために誠心誠意努める覚悟でございます。
お一人ではありませぬ。先生にお誓いしたように私があなた様をお守りするとお誓い申し上げます。
守っていただくよりもただそばにいてくだされ。
Spawn to me for Lonnie Duke. Come on, let's go.
私の願いでござ
Let's make it happen.
かしこまりました。
Oh no. Yep. Who could have foresaw? I say that, but like, in all honesty, like, I didn't actually expect all of that. I expected to get back and like it would be trouble, but not like this. Fine, oh shoot. Swordsmith's hammer. With each hammer strike, the swordsmith honors Kagutsuchi, the kami of the fire and the forge. The fiery violence of his birth sent his mother Izanami to the land of the dead. If unappeased, Kagutsuchi's fury will destroy us all.
そう遠くまではいけない。おい、一人も生かしておいてはいかん。分かっておるな。
It's the people hanging. I hate seeing them.
道場はもぬけの殻だ。侍は皆上川村へ向かった。わ、叩きれ。逃げるがいい。臆病者。
進んだ。Oh no! I got the oh sweet. A dove. The dove is a symbol and messenger of Yahata, the divine protector. Once born mortal as great Emperor Ojin, all samurai must strive to embody his skill and patience. Our master Sanjuro revered Yahata as must I. Hang on. Got a text message from the wife. Checks how's it going? Well, she wants me to check the AC and stuff. I'll be right back. Super quick. Hey, Ellie. You guys want to see my dog? He's my doggy. The doggy. Why am I mess in my house? Right? I got a 16-month-old, 17-month-old baby. She's 16 months. Look at my dog. She's so sweet. She's the sweetest little girl you ever could want. Look at her. Such a sweetheart. Such a sweet. Wait, hold on. Let's. You can actually see her. Look at this doggy. So sweet. So sweet. Oh, wait. Go. Are you just gonna hang out? Okay. I guess she's just gonna hang out. Stupid monitor and camera. Back to the game.
命がするなら今のうちじゃしまいじゃ。お前はこの時
Yes, needed that. Give me the health, baby. Oh!
役立たず誰かいるのか生き残りだ逃げられんぞ
It's really annoying that they always get that one. Oh, come on. I blocked that. They always have that one, like, super fast attack.
用なしのご機会
It's weird. It's super weird. I guess it doesn't really matter whether I kill this guy. Because, yeah, it looks like, I think it kept my health yet. So, there's really no point in coming up here. But I did it anyway. Doesn't have the same effect as last time. Alright. Excuse me, sir. I definitely anticipated that one. I'm surprised that one didn't register as a block. That's a dumb bucket he's got on his head. Looks like an idiot.
足が誰か助けてくれわっぱみたいにわめくんじゃねえ今どけてやるからおい助けてくれ おめえは仲間じゃねえ。見逃した。助けてくれ、頼む。屋根が落ちてきて足を砕かれた。
慈悲も与えぬ非道の輩が今それを請うのか。
面目ねえ。わしはただ言いつけ通りにしただけだ。
では身を切るたびに涙を流しておったのか。
頼む、五章だ。
Can I do it? Shoot. Can I end him? Nope. Alright, sweet. I like that.
戻ってきやがれ。
Can I not do anything? I didn't want to do anything anyway. But it just
100
seemed
軒
weird.
先からでも暗図を射止めよう。お主の頭など造作なきこと。はよ行け侍。お主の誇りなど
Miss.
何の役にも立たぬ。
Did he just do the next time I won't miss thing? What? Am I supposed to attack them? Or what?
足が誰か
I'm
助けてく
confused.
れ。わっぱみたい。おい、助けてくれ。おめえは仲間じゃねえ。助けてくれ、頼む。
Oh, no. I did it again. Okay. Yep. Oh well. I don't know.
戻ってきや。猫にもかなわんな。
Rude. Rude. Alright, try this again.
足が誰か助けてくれ。おい、助けてくれ。おめえは仲間じゃねえ。見逃してくれ。
I finally got it.
助けてくれ、頼む。屋根が。
No. Can I? It doesn't seem like I can help it. Oh, can I? Wait. By finishing? No? No? Alright. Can't do anything.
戻ってきた。
Sorry.
お前はここでしまいじゃ。
Bro.
足が誰か助けてくれ。おい、助けてくれ。お前は仲間じゃねえ。見逃してくれ。戻ってきや。役立たずのクズ野郎が。
I definitely blocked it. What the hell was that?
足が
My dude said kick swap.
助けてくれ。わっぱみたい。おい、助けてくれ。おめえは仲間じゃねえ。見逃してくれ。
Forgot what you meant for a second.
戻ってきや。これで最後じゃ。
I'm confused. Clearly. I don't know what's happening. I blocked one once. I'm not sure what I did. I thought I do I just hold the block? Is that the key?
助けてくれ。おめえは仲間じゃねえ。見逃してくれ。
Like is holding the block the key?
戻ってきや。命乞いするなら今のうち。
No. You have to parry it. Like this dude is impossible. I don't understand what the heck is happening. So I have to I explicitly have to parry his arrows. Right?
戻ってきや。両者が。
Nope, too early, I think. And then he does that, and you can't do anything. So like, what do you do against the kick? Do I like have to dodge the kick?
足が誰か助けてくれ。おい、助けてくれ。おめえは仲間じゃねえ。見逃
Do
し
I
て
have
く
to
れ。
dodge the kick?
戻ってき
Is
や。
that the kick?
この犬が。
Yeah, that's what it is. What? What? My dude's got freaking Stretch Armstrong's legs. Legs like Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. What? What am I supposed to do? Okay, this is actually getting stupid at this point because there's literally 0 Q for his kick. So like, I'm not sure. Way too early, I guess. And then he kicks you. He kicks you out of the attack. Like, the second he gets hit, he throws out his kick and you can't do anything. So like, I don't understand what the heck I'm supposed to do with it. Now I'm getting frustrated. So I'm playing worse. Yep. I mean, I kind of sacrificed that one. I didn't really care on that one. I don't understand. And it's honestly the most infuriating thing I've done today. That was 100% on me. I don't know why. I know what I was doing. I just messed up what I was doing. All of a sudden, this guy, like, they've almost never gotten a second stab out after my parry. Huh? Oh, okay. I got a bow and arrow. Let's see. I mean, I guess that's cool.
馬もですかい。
犬猫でも生かしておくなという言いつけだ。
もったいねえな。わしらが連れてくってのはいかがですかい。
すぐ気づかれちまうさ。さっさとやっちまえ。
そうですかい。わしにやれるかな。
馬に食わせる飯もねえんだ。じゃねえ。
Sorry, buddy.
先へ行かねばならない。矢で撃たれてしまう。それなどに屈せぬ。たとえ死と隣り合わせであろうとは。
喉をかき切
へ
れ。
し折ってやれ。
Ah, come on.
あそこだ。仕留めろ。
Oopsie. I guess I wasn't paying attention when they first fired.
先へ行かねばならない。そう矢で撃たれてしまう。
どこへ行きよった。早く。あいつを抜けさせるな。やめてくれ。
恐れなどを屈せぬ。
この辺りに違いない。止めろ。目を狙え。
Didn't you
死
know?
と隣り合わせであろうと。
お前は必ずしないじゃん。
命乞いするなら今のうちじゃ。頭をちっちゃいな。
まさき。
幾日か骨休めして出陣だ。
何故とどまる。早く攻めねえとお上の軍勢が押し寄せてきちまう。
There's an item
疲れ果て
somewhere.
た兵は親分の役に立たね
臆病者。今すぐ隣の村を攻め落とさねえと。
え。ああ、そうだろうな。
Unless maybe it's not.
わしらのことは奴らの耳にすぐ届くだろう。
今日はほとんど死人も出てねえ。この勢いを断つんじゃねえ。
親分のお言葉を待て。
I'm not sneaking back. Oh wait, maybe this is.
拙者がそなたを見つけられるなら他の者にも容易に見つかるということぞ。
ヒロキ殿、誠にあなた様でござるか。
ここは危のうござる。逃げなされ。どこへでもいい。
だが
Fujin Print. Fujin, the Wind Kami. A terrifying demon born together with Raijin after Izanami's death. His storms bring death and destruction. Is it his rage that has done this to my home?
みんなおらんようになってしもうた。神さんも子供もわしの弟までも。
皆、そなたが生きる姿を見ておるぞ。
わしには行くとこもねえし行く通りもね
ここに残るは死のみ。生きなされ。
Yes.
また一からやり直せばよい。
え。どうかの。わしは一人では何もできん。あなた様もすぐわかるようになろう。
まだまだこれからじゃ。
Tough talk. I'm gonna go kill him.
もう一発じゃ。
犬が。おめえみたいな小僧は相手にならねえ。
おらん。女房はうちの女房はどこへ。
Magatama bead. The Magatama is said to bring good fortune and keep evil at bay. Ame no Uzume strung the trees with Magatama, and she sought to lure Amaterasu from seclusion. and thus restore sunlight to the world. Yet the Magatama has failed in its purpose. I just stepped over.
賊の手にかかるくらいならと自害したのであろう。守る者もおらぬ中、なす術もなかったであろう。
Honestly, kind of understandable. I got one. Oh no, that was a bow and arrow. I think I saw. So I can go. Keep stepping all over this person's dead body. It's glowing. Why? What is this? Okay, whatever. I just want to know why it glows. Why it glows.
次はどこをやる？
またどこぞのみすぼらしい僻地に。
よくも兄貴をやりやがったな。これで最後じゃ。ほっ。
I hate how annoying these like fighting those armored guys are. Maybe there's like a trick to it that I don't know or don't remember or something. Or maybe this feels like they're technically different.
静かに惜しいあんたたち。まだあいつらはいるよ。
Fishing rod. The rod is a symbol of Ibizu, the first kami, to be brought into this world by Izanagi and Izanami. He was born deformed, so he was cast into the sea by his aghast parents. Yet he survived and grew strong. Now he has a smile for all, and the fishermen look to him for good fortune. Where were you this day, Ibisu? Man.
あっちへ行きな。あんたら鬼は取れるものは全部取っただろう。おっか、誰だ。目をつぶってな。
待たれよ。拙者をご存じないのか。
おめえが誰だろうと知ったこっちゃねえ。どっか言っとくれ。
さようでござるか。どうかご無事で。
Granted, to be fair. What? I'm not. What's the goal? Am I just getting out of here? That's weird. That was a very strange thing.
拙者が勝ち戦を欲したためにこの卑怯者どもは抗う者にも出くわさずやすやすと。
Well, I mean, I
命だけは見逃してくれ。お前らのことは。 どこへ連れてったら。
Euclid? Baron's mirror. It was the sight of her own reflection in a circular mirror that drew Amaterasu, queen of the kami, back to us when she hid herself away, and thus restored the light of the sun to this world. It is she, the greatest of Izanagi's children, who protect us from the land of the dead now. I guess maybe it's probably. I'm not really sure what all needed to be loaded. Boss.
お前の仲間は同じように己を信じておったが、一人残らず死んだ。
わしを見てみろ。この槍を見よう。近寄ることもできぬわ。叩き切れ。
Yep. Alright. Sick. Anyways.
負け犬が。
Roll attack. Or being. It's not gonna let me do it. That. I gotta keep doors open. Sick. Sick. He spaced his attacks just right so that I would miss all my parries. That's really cool. It's really lovely. Yes. I was hoping for one of these scenes. Yes.
斉藤殿、お許しを。奴らの計りごとにまんまとはまり、肝心な時に居合わすことができず。
弘樹殿、おやめなさい。先に死が待つのみじゃ。
ならば死と出会うまで。
Sorry, lady. Alright.
これは単なる襲撃ではない。恐れゆえのさらなる恐れを煽るがための所業。
Overhand combo. So it's X, X, Y. That was cool.
ってやつよ。小銭も当てれば。
Oh, these guys are like actually. I died. All right. So what? Wait. What? Wait. I thought that was going to be progress. So maybe this is not progress. I thought up here was going to be progress. Wait, is it? Oh, I could have snuck behind. Whoa! Collect a moon flask. Shaped like the moon, form Tsukiyomi. Second of the 3 children created by Izanagi as he cleansed himself of Yomi's taint. Tsukiyomi was a sibling of Amaterasu, Queen of the Sun, but now the Moon Lord endlessly pursues her across the sky, and night and day may never again be together. Will my own quest for the one I love prove to be equally in vain? I do enjoy the way the things are written, like it's like his thought. Oh, come on. It's like his thought process on what's happening, so to speak. Or not thought process, but like his inner thoughts of the things he's like collecting. So we came up this road. Oh.
腹をかっさばいてやれ。おめえみてえな人は相手にならねえ。
So tired of fighting these guys. Of all the guys that fight, the armored guys are actually the worst. Actually, they are actually the worst. So many things are happening. Shoot. Oh, dang. I'll be right back real quick. Excuse me.
鬼どもは相手に何し
More. My wife is starting to drive me crazy here. Wait, are the naked guys the bandits?
正しい死者
No. Okay, I have the maximum arrows.
馴染みの顔ばかりじゃ皆よく存じておる
I just realized I got the music still playing.
まだ息のあるやつがおる。武器を持っておる。
I hate these guys. Now I gotta run through this whole thing again.
おびただしい死者
You know what? Hang on. This is what's about to
馴
happen.
染みの顔ばかりじゃ
Your boy's about to get
Mina yoku
shuriken
zonjite.
straight to the face, bro.
まだ息のあるやつがおる。武器を持っておる。
And I'm dead. How tough are these dudes, man? Why is he so tough? Like, that's not fair. Like, the fact that he has this crazy range that not only does he have crazy range, because, like, you know, he has a bow and arrow or whatever, but, like, the fact that he has, like, a freaking 3-frame kick that is next to impossible to react
ま
to.
だ息のあるやつがおる。武器を持っておる。
You know what I'm saying? Like, he has, like, his kick is so fast that I can't even react to it. I'm gonna freak out. I hate when she does this. She just like constantly texting me over nothing. Let me mute it so it stops driving me crazy. It's hearing it. Alright.
おびただしい死者 馴染みの顔ばかりじゃ
This, I know
皆
what I'm
よ
gonna
く
do.
存じておる
Run up, do the sprint attack.
まだ息のあるやつがおる。
How? How did he get that off, bro? All that. All that. Just to run up on him and body him super fast. Attack is so
どうかな。悪
yes. tired of fighting those armored guys, man. They're just so annoying. Finally. See it glowing. New collector. Rice bowl. This bowl's owner shall never eat from it. Never again eat from it. The rice within is but one of many gifts from Ukamochi, the food kami. Yet it is her death that saw Amaterasu the sun reject her sibling Tsukiyomi the moon. He slew Ukamochi in a fit of disgust, for she had created a feast from her own body, coughing and vomiting rice, fish, and game from within her. Okay. From that day forth, Amaterasu deemed her raging, violent brother unworthy of a place in the heavens. Yeah. No, like, don't get me wrong. What? Oh, he's trying to get behind me. I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot more consistent.
陽気殿、生きておられたか。
愛子殿はいずこに。
道場に。だが言ってはならねえ。この通りだ。
たとえ何人束になろうと拙者を止めることはできぬ。
It's this asshole. You knows that, boy. You look like the pig person from that episode of Twilight Zone.
のようなことが。
会うたことがあるの。
この手でその傷を負わせ、己が生き絶えたのを見届けたはずじゃ。
この村は我を墓に留め置きたくないようだの。あの女が最後まで呼んでおったのはお前の中。我がその苦しみを終わらせてやるまでな。
Now I'm pissed. I'm not gonna lie, he looks really fucking cool though. He looks really cool.
未だわっぱのような打ち
Oops.
調和を乱したお前など取るに足らぬ。
Oops. I messed up.
戯れはもうよい。黄泉へ行け。
Is that supposed to lose? Or is that like a weird double ending thing? Like what? Okay. Yes, I was supposed to lose.
案ずることはございません。傷は不幸ございますが、私がついております。
族どもは
逃げました。大事はございません。ひとまずは皆が待っておりますので、まだまだすべきことがございます。
愛子、そなたなしには皆何もできぬ。拙者もしかり、
私もでございます。我々はどちらかが欠けてもいけませぬ。
Yes.
愛子、生きておったか。愛子、待て。
Okay. Maybe I guess I was supposed to lose. But it didn't really feel like he was so strong that I wasn't gonna win. Or I couldn't win. So that's interesting. Oh man, just clunk, 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 clunk. What I knew this already. Am I tripping? Am I tweaking? I could have swore I had a sprint attack already. No, I remember the roll, but I could have. I swore I saw a sprint attack. All right. Also had heavy fast. Oh, that's what it was. It was actually heavy fast. I think the game kind of bugged for a second. It showed me the wrong one because I'm like,
愛子、誠にそなたであるか。愛子、どこへ行く。
oh, I get it now. I'm on the trek to Yomi.
どこか気懐かし
Because
く。
I died.
女がここを通ってはおらぬか。
あるいは通ったやもしれぬ。
はっきりと申しくだされ。見たのであるか。
この先じゃ、されど心してまいる。ここは汚れた地、恐ろしい病に侵されておる。
かたじけない。承知いたした。
Nicola. On you do. Card from a Karuta deck. Its back shows a yokai, a spirit or beast of myth. This one is the Onyudo, a giant dressed as if a holy man. There are many tales of Onyudo, wreaking destruction or terror, but some tell of them being man's helpers, aiding the harvest, turning stuck mill wheels, clearing blocked paths. Such strength and perseverance is what I need. Yes. Pretty sure. Napperable. Another card from this deck of yokai. This wicked apparition takes on familiar human form, only to erase its features and terrify he who is unfortunate enough to behold. There are tales of fishermen being approached by a young charming woman, but their swoon turned to screams as her beautiful face was replaced by blank, expansive skin. Yep. We hear there be monsters. It's not looking too hot.
Nodo, yakeru.
あそこだ清き者燃やすでない待てよこせ
教えてくれぬか。これは幻か。炎、戦があった。そして何が。
思い出してたらオラが助けてやるからこの檻を開けてくれ。開けろ今すぐに。開けろ飯。
Uh-oh. Oh my goodness.
下がれ。
This has turned into a horror game, bro. What the heck? This is Gollum, bro? Oh, okay. They just. What is? Yo, this is crazy. Play swap early. Oh my lord. These dudes are not only okay, so like they're tough, right? As you saw, this man took so many swipes, but they just power through with attacks. I'm trying to do it. I'm just eating these attacks. I don't really. I'm not really sure. I definitely hit the parry button and like the parry noise went off. So that's interesting. I actually I'm actually struck because like I can parry them. It seems like even parrying, just regular parrying, doesn't really work. Maybe I'm trying. Let's see. Yeah, see. This game just turned spooky. Don't like this. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, dude. Alright. Alright. I think this is good enough spot as any. We're gonna we're calling it quits on Trek to Yomi for today, man. Cause like, oh my lord, have mercy. And I get it, like they're not. I didn't really fight that many, so I understand why it put me back that far, but like they're like fundamentally so much different than fighting those, like fighting regular guys. And like I'm having trouble getting over that hurdle right now. Oh my gosh. All right, it is 3:39. It's almost 3:40. I'm gonna have to. Oops. I'm gonna have to leave fairly soon. Within the next hour. Or no, actually, no, within the next like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm gonna have to be out of here. So, should I stay on? Should I play something else? Should I just like vibe out on Chivalry or just call it quits? I think I might just call it quits for today. Get some editing done and whatnot. So, all right, guys. This was fun. It was a blast. This game is really cool, especially now. It's like it's gotten a lot more interesting. Not that it wasn't interesting before, but this is like not where I expected it to go. I'm still a little like, was I supposed to die there, or could I have beat him? And like, what would have happened if I beat him? You know, interesting. But, anyways, it is what it is. We're here now. This is where we're going, and we're rocking out with it. Like I said, this is a. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. The name of the thing is Trek to Yomi, and like every like collectible that I found has like pretty much referenced Yomi as like the land of the dead. So I guess it's only natural that we not necessarily, I guess not die, but I mean he seems dead. Or maybe prediction. This is what I think is happening. Right. I think either he on the way to fight the no-nose man, he's like envisioning what would happen if he lost or whatever, and he, you know, this is like that, so he's like, oh my god, I have to deal with the path. No, maybe he did lose, and him fighting through Yomi, I guess, is where I'm at. Him fighting, well, no, that doesn't make sense because it's Trek to Yomi. It doesn't make sense that I would be in Yomi now. I think what's happening is I'm on the journey to Yomi, and if I get there, I'll live. Or like he'll wake up like I'm bleeding or whatever, and then go fight that guy and get revenge. Or maybe she's just dead, and this is how you get to Yomi. I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out though. But yeah, so like I said, yeah, I think we'll call it quits for today. I'll eat me some lunch and then go get the rest of my tasks done for today. Excuse me. All right, you guys. Behave yourselves. Have fun. I'll see you guys next time. Doodles.